Right then guys, and welcome to another video. I say another video, I haven't done one in a while. And as I've said before, no excuses, no reasons, just haven't done one. Today is, I always say this as well, I always say this is the big one. Today it really is. It's the Manchester Derby, playing them at the Etihad. We're 21 unbeaten away from home, they're 21 on a winning streak. Today it has to end for somebody, but who will it be? Will they keep their 26 game, I mean over 27 now, game unbeaten run? If we see a 0-0 draw like we have been seeing recently, where Manchester United have now got 3 in a row, for I think the second time in their history, could be their first time if we were doing 0-0. Could be our first time in our history, I think it might be the first time in the Premier League history as well. Who knows? Wouldn't be surprised with the way we've been playing against the top 6 sides. That being said, we've been a lot more expansive, been a lot more pressing, been a lot more positive against the top 6 sides. We just haven't been able to find the back of the net. Against Chelsea, we showed a penalty. Against Arsenal, we just had some chances. Against Chelsea, I've already said about Chelsea. To be fair, in the first game against Chelsea against Old Trafford, we should have won that one as well. Against Liverpool, we missed so many chances. Man City, we could have had a penalty if Marcus Rashford was like an inch further away. So I'm saying all this because there's been this narrative that we haven't been able to do very well against the top 6 sides, against the big 6 sides. That's really not the case. Although we should be doing better, yes, I do agree there. We're not actually that bad because if we took our chances, if we were more clinical like we have been, we would be winning each and every single one of those games, and we're not conceding either. We have played, I think it's 5 now in the league, maybe 6. We've conceded to Tottenham, which was an embarrassing result, but that was an anomaly. That was start of the season, that was basically pre-season, and we went a man down. Our heads went, and although that should never be the case, it is true. And we never had pre-season, like I said, it was like a training game, that one. They were ready, we weren't. We just been knocked out of the Europa League in the semi-final a month prior, and we hadn't played any games beforehand. And then we lose to Arsenal, where we played negative, we played poor, and it was a poor penalty to give away. They were the better side in that game, and that was upsetting to see. But that was it. In terms of losing to the top 6 sides, that is all we've done. People will bring up that you lost 2-0 to Man City in the League Cup in the semi-final, which I will then say, yes, but then we then knocked out Liverpool a couple of weeks later in the FA Cup. So if you want to bring up that, then we have beaten top 6. If you bring up the fact that we've lost recently, then again we have beaten Liverpool, and we looked the much better side than that one. And we didn't even need Bruno for the first 60 minutes. We did need him to get the winning goal though, as per usual. But yeah, I digress. Let's talk about this one. Let's not moan about previous ones, not talk about narratives. Let's just talk about the here and now. The here and now suggests we're in for a fun ride. We're in for a bit of a rocky match. We're in for a game where we can try and play their game, try and play how they want us to play and get demolished. Like we have seen the likes of Liverpool doing, the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Chelsea, everyone. But if we were to do what we have been doing previously in the top 6 sides, I think we had to revert to how we played against them last season, where it did work out quite nicely. I think we did the league double over them because we beat them at their place and our place. We lost one game in the League Cup to them, 3-1 at Old Trafford, but then beating them in the return leg 1-0 at the Etihad. So that's 3 out of 4, I believe. We might have drawn, I can't remember. But we had a better record against them than they had against us last season. And that has been the case since Ollie has come in. We have figured out how to do this. We have been, in terms of the mini-league, in terms of all the top or big 6 teams playing each other, we were second only to Liverpool, who on that season went on the unprecedented run that they went on that Man City are now replicating. We need to improve because currently we are sitting bottom of the table in that mini 6 league I was mentioning earlier because we haven't picked up a win yet in the league. It's about time that we do that. Will this day be the day? no guarantees, because like I said, they are on an unprecedented run, 21 wins in a row. They're pulling away. I think it's like 14 points clear or 12 points clear now, which is just ridiculous. But we can narrow it down, and the important thing is that we don't worry about them, but we worry about ourselves, and we just keep pushing forwards, keep getting points here and there, just keep trying to go. If you look at them, it's just going to depress you, it's going to worry you. But at the same time, this time last season, I believe we were in 7th place. We were like 10, 15 points worse off. So there is clear progress, and that is the one thing we said this season that we have to see. We have to see clear progress, and we have. That's not to say that the results we've been picking up recently shouldn't be scrutinised, because they should be. Losing Sheffield United, that game was poor. We had referee decisions go against us, but that is no excuse. You can use it as an excuse, it'll be a valid one. But there's no reason to be losing to Sheffield United 2-1 and relying on referees to do their jobs. We drew against Everton, conceding right at the end. We didn't really create enough chances against West Brom to beat them. We didn't create enough chances to beat Crystal Palace. We could have. Chelsea were there for their taking. They were in really good form, but we had the better chances, and we again for a penalty. It's just these fine margins that in those games I've mentioned there, that's about 12 points in terms of being dropped that we shouldn't have done, or that we on another day might not have done. That's the difference. If we didn't drop those points in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, we'd be up there with City. They've just been doing the gritty, grinding and getting those results where we haven't. And we need to start doing that. If we can take their momentum away, we've seen this season, Liverpool, they went on an amazing, unprecedented 68 match winning streak, 4.5 years of not losing at Anfield. Lost once to Burnley and have now lost 5 in a row. And as the time recording this will give a bit of a timestamp. They are losing to Fulham at Anfield as well, about to make it 6 in a row, which 5 was the first one done in their history, let alone 6, maybe even 7. If we can beat this Man City side and just knock them off their perch, just slow them down in their consistency, we might start to see it unravel like we have for Liverpool. And it may even be the spark that we need. That's the difference between Manchester United and Man City in these games, is although they do understand the weight of the match, they do understand how important it is, Manchester United seem to battle a lot more in these games. We seem to know that it's a Manchester derby. We seem to go in for a fight, not a match. And we need that to continue. We've got the likes of Scott McTominay, who is an academy prospect who will fight in the midfield. We've got Marcus Rashford, who will try just that little bit harder. And as of the news of congratulations to David De Gea on his new baby, we're going to have Dean Henderson in goal, who should hopefully be throwing fists in the box. We have these players that know what it's like to play in this match. Even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself, who was at Manchester United for so many years, understands the weight of this game and understands how much Manchester United fans want to win this one. And he does know how to win it. It's just if he goes back to his old tactics of maybe sitting back a bit, soaking up a bit of pressure, and then doing those quick combinations to help break down the defence and counter-attack on them. We're going to have to expect to sit back with 30% possession, which is how Man City have been playing against teams, and we have to be prepared and be happy to do that. The way that we will lose this game and get destroyed is if we don't let City play. That's the sad thing, that's the sad truth. If we let them play how they want to play and let them just pass the ball around and just be able to soak up that pressure but have people ready to trigger the counter, that's how we win this one. We don't win it by trying to match them and trying to outplay them, because that's just not going to happen with the squad that we have right now. We have Edison Cavani out injured, we have Van der Beek out injured, we have Paul Pogba out injured, we have other people that are doubtful. We've got Marcus Rashford who's carrying an injury, we've got Martial who's carrying an injury, we've got Victor Lindelof who's carrying an injury, and all these people being forced to play. We've got David De Gea who's out of his kid. We need to make sure that we utilise our team. We've got Matic who won't play again because he played the other day, probably most likely. I've mentioned our players that probably won't play and players that are doubtful. Let's now talk about my starting 11. It may be a controversial one because it's one that I haven't seen fairly too much. I'm going to go for Dean Henderson in goal. I'm I'm going to go for a back five like we did against them last time, and it worked quite well. I'm going to put Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back. Of course, nobody else is going to play that, and him against Sterling has been quite a fun little battle to watch at times. I'm going to go for a back three of Lindelof, Maguire and Luke Shaw. People will be pulling their hair out by he's not starting. And maybe he does deserve to start. But I feel like maybe resting, having ready for Europa. The thing is with Lindelof is his passing range is underappreciated. I've said this previously. That we saw the likes of his assists against, who was it against? It was in the Europa League. He got an assist where he literally just pinged it perfectly over the top. And maybe some people that we've got up top that I'm going to mention later, maybe perfect. Got Maguire in the middle, who's literally just there to marshal the back line to make sure anything that comes into the box gets out again. And we've got Luke Shaw, who is naturally a left back, but has played well at left centre back when he's been there. He is a player that, as of this season, likes to get the ball at his feet and drive at the other teams. And that is exactly what you need when you're playing a 5 at the back or a 3 at the back. You should need one of those centre backs to be comfortable with the ball at their feet, just to drive the opposition. And not only that, he is very good on his feet in terms of denying those passing lanes, in terms of not letting opponents dribble into the box too easily. So he'll be there as cover to screen Tellez when he does want to go forwards. And even he could go forwards as well himself and slot back into a back four by bringing one like McTominay or Fred. Spoiler alert, that's on midfield too. Bringing one of those back, helping to sit, maybe having like a Lindelof cover the channel, Wan-Bissaka, and just sitting on the back four again when we're looking to go forwards. It's just going to be a fluid formation basically, but we need to make sure that the bulk of it and the natural positioning is a 3/5 at the back in order to encourage them to play out wide. Because Man City are very good when they're hitting early crosses in, when they're getting the ball into your box onto the 6-yard line and just pulling it across. We need to make sure that we're keeping them out wide as far as we can for them to cross it in, because they have no target man. Man City, although they have some incredible players and have this wealth of talent and this wealth of squad depth, they haven't got a target man, a striker. They've got a Gabriel Jesus who, in terms of physicality, isn't up there, isn't great. Got Aguero who is so injury prone that if you were to tickle him he'd probably snap his neck. You have to make sure that what you're doing is you're playing to their weaknesses instead of playing to our strengths. That is one thing that Sir Alex Ferguson and Mourinho, that's how their styles varied. Mourinho was always playing on your strength. Ferguson was always playing on their weakness. And their weakness is definitely the fact they have no target man. They have no person to be the focal point when they were to cross the ball into the box. The only people they have that can do that are likes of Rodri, likes of Ruben Diaz, and likes of John Stones. So we had to try and keep them free, that are their most defensive players. Keep them pegged back so they have no option to come forwards. Which means that we have to command the box in set pieces, and we have to not let them stay up. And if they are, we have to make them think, maybe I should come back, maybe I should not be this far forwards because we could be hitting the counter. We have to make them have those little questions asked in their brains that stops them from doing that one extra thing in terms of looking more attacking. Anyway, that's my back five. Fred and McTominay I've already mentioned, and a front three of, I'm going to go for a 1 and a 2. So it'd be a 3-5-2 or 5-3-1-2, however you want to look at it. I'm going to go for Bruno, of course, in the 10. In front of him, I'm going to go for Marcus Rashford and Dan James. I've already mentioned the fact that I want them to ask questions. I want them to make the defenders worry about coming forwards. Who better than the two of the fastest people in the league? We've got Dan James, who's on decent form at the moment. We've got Marcus Rashford, who's en route to have his best season of his career. Let's make them ask questions. Let's make them worry the defence. Let's make them be ready. For we saw it against Real Sociedad in the first leg where Dean Henderson was ping a ball over the top, or Lindelof will ping a ball over the top, and they'll get there and they will ask questions. Edison, although he's a very good goalkeeper, he's quite a rash one. If you can get a ball that perfectly lands between the keeper and the centre back, he will come for it. And 9 times out of 10, he will get there first. But in that one, when you can get there first, you can draw a foul out of him and get him sent off, or you can get a shot away. And that is how we should be utilising this very quick team, this expansive team. This is the way that we can beat Man City, is by letting them play and being so quick on the trigger that they're not ready for it, and make sure that we prowl on their weaknesses and make sure that we look at our strengths, but make sure we definitely utilise those weaknesses. So that's my starting 11. I'm going to go for score prediction. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Manchester United. We're going to try and sit back. It's going to be a tough ask to keep out this Man City side. And I can see us conceding in the first 10 minutes because we don't really come out the blocks very well. But if we can go into half time at 0-0, I think we can nick it 1-0. I think that the goal scorer will probably be Marcus Rashford with Bruno Fernandes assist. Or even a Bruno Fernandes penalty. We're over one of those. And I'm going to say man of the match. Either Bruno or Marcus, whoever scores the goal. That's the truth of it, is whoever scores that goal will be looked at as a match winner and will be looked at as a player of that match. Anyway, that has been enough from me. I'm going to start waffling now about the Manchester Derby, which is one that I'm very worried about. I haven't been worried about a Manchester Derby for this much for a good while, and for good reason. But let's do it, lads. Let's absolutely dick them at Etihad. Let's slow down their title tries like we did a few seasons ago with Paul Pogba double and Chris Smalling getting the winner. Let's just slow down this charge. Let's slow down this Man City side that many are looking at as Pep's best side and looking at as their best ever team or Premier League's best ever team. Let's just shut them all up. Let's lower the points tally from us and them. Let's get a bit of breathing room because we have now been overtaken by Leicester. Let's get some breathing room between us, Leicester and Chelsea. Let's pull away. Let's guarantee that top 2 minimum. Let's guarantee this progression. Let's keep it going. Peace.